The Indiana Jones game is fastly approaching, quicker than that boulder behind you. Did I make you look? Making it time to mumble about it. Welcome back to the Mumbling Game. On today's one we're going to remember about Indiana Jones The Great Circle. I was originally not going to do this game. I wasn't going to make any sort of video on this game, but as the release date got closer, the worries started to grow. I think Metal Gear Solid Delta can wait a bit longer as we still haven't got a release date. And so let's start off with the question, haven't we already got this?
I ought to kill you right now.
The first worry may not be an actual worry, but it's still kind of worrying. We already have a badass first person who loves killing. Oh wait, I don't think I can say that on YouTube. These things.
I hope you don't have a fire back there to put out.
Who's also kind of funny and with an exciting story that can really go anywhere. You want an appearance of the actual mustache devil himself? Here it is. And still, it's not the best villain in this game. This nightmare is. This literally has everything you want from a minute-killing game. It can be funny. It could be heart-tuning. William. And with it being developed by the same studio behind Indiana Jones, why didn't we get a third game in this series rather than this? It feels like the Indiana Jones game is never going to be on the same level of the Wolfenstein games, as we can't fight robot dogs, robot robots, and evil, pure evils like this. Instead, we have villains like this. Shoot, shoot! You know, I think I'm just going to play Wolfenstein 2 again, just before I do this video. I'll be back.
I'll be back, and I am back.
Okay, I got that out of my system, but it still worries me as it just makes me want the Wolfenstein 3 game much more than this Indiana Jones game. And it feels like we got a replacement here for Indiana Jones rather than the Wolfenstein. Actually, there is a poll going right now, well it should be going right now. What would you rather, this Indiana Jones game, The Great Circle, or Wolfenstein 3? And when you're down there, remember to give us a like and subscribe for future mumbles.
Give me the whip!
Even though gameplay wise it's looking very basic, if you look at the story and the set pieces of this game, it feels very adventurous. And isn't that kind of what we're going for here? So should we really be that worried? Even though I'm not saying this is going to be a Hideo Kojima type style cutscenes where you could have a toilet break, go do your weekly shop and play a couple of series of Bellatro before it ends. Come on, I can't be the only one that watched all the cutscenes and still don't understand Death Stranding.
I'm confused. Is this a happy ending or a sad ending?
It's an ending, that's enough.
But the simple action here in the cutscenes looks pretty good. Look at that. Oh, look at that. It looks like a full-blown adventure, and that is what Indiana Jones is. I can't argue the plane jump alone kind of has me slightly excited for this, but I think these elements will be far and few between. The stone between the rock. Then I think a bit deeper and realise this isn't the gameplay, these are set pieces, and yeah, it looks so real, but we cut to gameplay and what is a lot of
every punch and the thrill brawler action.
All these kind of things looks fun, sign me up, but also first person hand-to-hand combat looks well boring. I don't remember a game where it has been fun. Meaning we're going down a worrying train route here. It's possible of the cutscenes pushing forward this gameplay, but I don't know, something doesn't feel right while looking at this trailer. And looking at the earlier views, it's showing something that is slightly meh here. Maybe yes, it does feel like we're going on an adventure, but it feels like elements of this game well feel more repetitive than adventurous. It feels like maybe the game also seems slightly too open, kind of like the person who put a prompt in the script to write a joke here or come up with something on the spot but can't. It seems like now these semi-open world are maybe the go-to for linear games to give you that open world feeling without actually going open world, with this being a way of introducing different set pieces without connecting it in a way. And after looking at the gameplay, these open world kind of elements to this open areas are slightly worrying, as it feels like these areas will get boring after a while, and it feels really similar to a different release what released earlier, a game that has took a page in the mumbling worrying book, this being Star Wars Outlaw. Maybe this has a parallel more because I wanted to play as Han Solo in this game but never got to. Even though I do think Indiana Jones will use these elements better, I can't help to feel the same worrying way deep down in my mumbling bones. Even though it does look like a very fun adventure to go on, we sadly still have this worrying question of who is this really for?
Prepare to meet Kali in hell.
I am an Indiana Jones fan. I have watched all the films, got the t-shirt, have had that theme song stuck in my head for near literal years. Oh no, it's happening again. Did I hate the alien stuff? Yes. And most of the latest film? Yes. But still, I think I myself as a fan of the adventurer of the hat wearing whipper.
That sounded weirder reading out loud.
It comes down to the fact we haven't had a good one maybe since the end of the trilogy in the 80s. It feels like the franchise that should have never really returned and got weirder over time, unless I'm missing something in the originals, but I don't think anything really got weirder than aliens and time travel. Would I want a time traveling alien game? Yes, I do. Do I want that in Indiana Jones? No. And I think I'm happy to see Indiana Jones kind of just end. And looking at the box office of the last film, a lot of people seem to feel the same way. And then we see the gameplay and I feel even more weird about this. I hear the voice, what probably will be Troy Baker. Yep, and it doesn't really sound that right to me. I'm seeing loads of things saying that's how closely it sounds to Indiana Jones, but I'm feeling weirdly that it sounds more like Jeff Goldblum. Let's do some mumbling here, let's compare it. Here's Indiana Jones.
History. There's different ways to interpret the past.
And here's Jeff Goldblum from obviously Jurassic Park.
It's not possible. Listen, if there's one thing the history of evolution has taught us, it's that life will not be contained.
Can you hear that? Does it sound a little like Indy, but I'm hearing Jeff Goldblum? Maybe it's just me. Comment below what you think. Do you think this is more Indiana Jones or Jeff Goldblum? It just popped into my head and I can't get it out of my head, and I'm done a lot of listening to this trailer and the voice and I just can't get that out of my head. I need at least one person to comment below what they think of this. Jeff Goldblum, Indiana Jones. And then there's another thought that seeps into my mumbling gaming brain, as it doesn't look to cement itself to first or third person. They cut between both first and third person while climbing, and it really is a big worry for me as it kind of takes me out of the experience. This might be just another me, but it feels like it needs to stick to that one. Maybe it could add that in the future where you can just pick one like Resident Evil did. At the minute, this is kind of worrying me.
Don't call me Junior.
Before we continue on this Mixed Bag of Boulders game, we need to talk about the story and what it actually is.
Me, I can play a game with terrible gameplay if the story is pretty decent, and this game looks to be set between the Ark and the Crusade. So what is this story? Is it going to be a mumble or a worry? Yeah, I made mumble into a positive thing. A verb, adverb. One of them. Anyway, at face value, maybe this could be a very basic Indiana Jones thing. We have a thing that is the Great Circle, what's a map full of stuff, and the dingoes of evil are trying to get these things as well as Indiana Jones. It sounds like any other Indiana Jones story. It kind of seems like a basic thing. Artifacts need to be found. You have to find them before the evil doers. Even though this might be a worry, maybe, but because this story has been so really cemented to that Indiana Jones kind of mythos, I don't think I'd really want something that advanced. I think I am happy with go here, get this, and have hopefully a weird twist, but a historical twist, not an alien or time travel twist. And I think I'd be happy with the story of this game, even though the gameplay does have me a bit hit or miss at the minute.
But maybe this mixed bag could just end up feeling like we're playing in the movie. We have them slow segments and we have them rush segments. But the slow segments, if you take it straight from the movie, could be a lot more boring. But it could work this time around. It didn't work for Star Wars Outlaw, but it could work for the Indiana Jones The Great Escape. Hopefully. And the main reason not to worry about this game is really due to the Game Pass. You could download this when you're playing Call of Duty at the bottom of that leaderboard. Did that strike a nerve? Hope it did, as it struck mine. But come closer. 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 Ah, too close. Come on. The Indiana Jones game could be more than meets the boulder.
When looking at the gameplay, you would have thought that it could be closer to maybe Wolfenstein, but not as many guns. More whips, fists and chains. But no, it's more like Resident Evil 7 or 8, but without the tension. It does take me back to Wolfenstein games again, as they had stealth elements to that game, but they're not that memorable. The parts we remember is when we have massive guns shooting people in the face. I do hope this turns out to be wrong, but the more gameplay we see, the more toned down it feels. With stealth being probably the main focus of the whole game. After watching all the trailers, that's mainly what they show, as all the gameplay sections seem slightly slow, as there's near no straight up gunfights where you're rushing to cover. It's more sneaking around with a hammer, whipping a bitch. With the segments we do see where you are having hand-to-hand combat or a shootout, it's more like, oh no, you failed this segment, you're fighting to survive type deal. Even though no doubt you could probably go in hard, it does feel like the whole game is kind of more pushing you for stealth rather than hardcore fisticuffs. And it feels like the gameplay wise, with it just being the punches, maybe some elements of whips, but I don't know how much of it, and some elements of guns, it does feel like that was all toned back with the emphasis on stealth.
I'm still looking at this game and kind of confused of what we're kind of going for here, as it's Indiana Jones game that has its realism, but when you watch an Indiana Jones film, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It just feels like I'm running away from that boulder just to get out of my way to kind of understand. But
could this maybe be a boulder in disguise? More of a lost ark than a crystal skull? Maybe, okay, let's say the stealth is 40 to 60% this game. We have 3% guns, 5% whips, 8% fists, and the rest is cutscenes. This could kind of work for an Indiana Jones game. The stealth focus could transition very well into the doo-doo hitting the fan. I do think they could work if that's what they're going for. For example, the museum set piece in the trailer. If this leads to the guys in brown walking in, forcing you into a stealth mission where you have to pick them off in this amazing museum kind of set piece, you see some amazing Easter eggs from other films, and bang, like a stomachache turned into an icon, the museum has started to be destroyed, and you're kind of forced into this shit hitting the fan situation, like a lot of Indiana Jones segments in movies are like.
But I do hope we do have a lot of these segments where it just starts off as just a casual scroll up a mountain. Oh, there's a ship, we need to go there to get some golden thing, and crash, damn it, we're running away, we're crashing on the ship, we're fighting these schneizers, and it all hits the fan. This sounds exciting, but look at the previews, this might not be the bone to pick.
I have looked at the early reactions here, even though I am taking 50% of them with a grain of salt, because Xbox have flown them out to a very swanky hotel and opening the early access gates for them.
Don't make a scene. Just say something witty and exit on the laugh. So jealous!
After reading and watching some of the previews of the upcoming Indiana Jones game, I think these worries are kind of mentioned, say for these people who have reviewed it. For example, PC Gamer's preview mentions that the game feels like an Indiana Jones adventure, but doesn't really feel fully involved into the game it sets out to be. And even though looking at these trailers it feels that way, many ways as mentioned, I do think most previews have only had 3 hours with the game. Maybe certain parts of the big boy events did not happen when they showed off the game. However, if there were multiple exciting segments to see, wouldn't they at least show one? To get the arc pumping and really give some excitement for this game, because at the minute we're looking at these previews and we're looking at a hard mid kind of game.
I would say for this type of franchise a mid game would be worrying, but we go back to that Game Pass again. It's worth to download this game, but it won't be worth the buy at full price for this game. It's a weird situation, but it feels like it's definitely worth playing.
A couple more of these previews suggest this game could also not be that well paced, with a lot of stealth segments being the main focus. It definitely feels like the previews who are more positive side of this game are more massive Indiana Jones fans. And as I said, I am an Indiana Jones fan, but it feels like too many snakes have soured the pot, and I hate snakes.
When looking at the industry, there's actually a weird amount of archaeologists out there. We have Uncharted with Nathan Drake and Tomb Raider with Lara Croft, but it feels like recently all these franchises have slowed down, and Xbox being Xbox also got towed for Nintendo thinking about it, but Xbox being Xbox, they wanted their own, so they thought why not use maybe one of the most well-known one, and maybe also the most outdated one.
There's a big snake in the plains!
The fact that we don't have an Uncharted or Tomb Raider game on the horizon makes me feel like maybe they should have just stuck with the third person, but then I think back to the Kong game, what kind of feels eerily similar to this Indiana Jones game. And that was amazing. I have vivid memories of enjoying that game. So really what I'm thinking this game could have been, or maybe could be, hopefully, or maybe have more of these tensiony elements, a bit more survival-y. It doesn't force you to go in hard, but when you go in like unstealthily, you are consequented for that. Something happens that kind of puts you off from doing that. I can't really go into this that much as I haven't played the game yet, but I think this could be kind of better. You are forced into the segments of Indiana Jones, but a lot of Indiana Jones segments in the movies are evolved around running away and using inventive ways to get away. So I think these tensiony bits leading to, oh no, you have to now run, it could be exciting. Because in a lot of Indiana Jones segments, you're never really the hunter, you're always the hunted. So maybe more survival could have worked better. Obviously you look at the trailers and that doesn't seem to be the case. Maybe we'll look at this more in the review. Okay, we'll look at this more in the review. Now I am actually just mumbling. So let's just cut to the summary.
Wait, maybe they should lean into their first person rather than their third person. That's another story for when we actually review this game. There is still much to be seen for this gameplay as we lead up to a release date, but at the minute it is kind of looking a bit iffy around the fist punchy area and kind of like it would get boring hitting these slices a lot of the time after a short period of time. But that's it for this mumble. What do you think of the Indiana Jones game? Are you excited for it? Are you already kind of bored of seeing it? Comment below your thoughts and I will see you on the next mumble. Remember to subscribe, like the video, and we have a Patreon if you want to support the channel, and I will see you on the next mumble.